And you are welcome back to Marketplace, where we talk about all the issues that affect you. And in a few hours from now, the president will actually cut the sword in a factory in Ekumfi in the central region for them to start their own processing of pineapple there. And it's all aimed at launching this administration's major industrialization policy, call it the one district, one factory. But we've had several initiatives. You can talk about the presidential special initiative. And why haven't all those policies worked? And what would this whole initiative be doing to ensure that this time around it works? There's some analysis in this report.
The president's special initiatives, Ayensu Starch Factory, Pwalugu Tomato Factory, Agua Project, and other initiatives and projects may not have failed totally, but the concern here is that, have these initiatives really lived up to expectation? That is why a lot of industry watchers are worried about how this administration would implement its flagship industrialization policy, that is the one district, one factory. Would factories set up under this initiative get the necessary support in terms of tax incentives, access to reliable power, and the concern of most industries, the high cost of doing business? Another challenge is the influx of cheap goods from the Far East, the problem of preference for foreign goods, and whether goods produced by these firms would really be purchased locally, or some policies must be implemented to compel the second cycle institutions and government agencies to buy from these industries. Government has, however, maintained that the policy will create the environment conducive for each local government area to own factories relative to its well-endowed resources and capacity to provide jobs and wealth for the country.
And that was a wrap about this whole government major industrialization policy, call it one district, one factory. It means that every district in this country would have one factory. What are they going to focus on? What about the cost and all those things? We'll be linking up to our man, Elton John Brombe, who is at Ekumfi in the central region, where this policy or this whole program will be launched by the president. But what are the views of industrialists, those who are already in the industry? Why haven't all these former initiatives that have been launched by government actually not worked or lived up to expectation? Madam Kate Pepperfield is the Group Chief Executive of Reroy Cables. I've been engaging her to get her thoughts on what is the problem with the industrial sector. Thank you so much. And as part of our discussions leading to this one district, one factory that is taking off as we speak right now, we are engaging several industrialists out there to get their views on this. Would this be the answer to their problems? So there are a lot of things that has to be done to ensure that indeed local industries are able to benefit from this whole initiative that is taken off in central region in Ekumfi. And I have one of the country's finest female industrialists joining me for this discussion this afternoon on Marketplace. So, Madam, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. My first question is that, what do you make of this initiative?
It's actually a laudable idea. It's a real revolution that is actually going to change this country, which all of us, we are all in favor of it. But then also, we need to look at how we're going to put the industries in perspective in terms of how we're going to brand ourselves as Ghana and how we are going to brand our products. With this initiative, it's actually something that we are all looking forward to it. But at the same time, there are challenges.
Indeed, it's good you're talking about challenges, but some would say that what are those things that needs to be worked on or needs to be given a very great attention if government, this policy will succeed? Because we've had several initiatives, presidential special initiative and all the rest, but when you look at the sector right now, there's nothing to write home about.
I would say that there is always challenge in every situation, but then even the challenge should even deter us from how the industries should run. I mean, one of the challenges is looking at your inputs. It's so expensive. Running an industry is a very expensive.
So issues about taxes needs to be addressed. Issues about reliable power needs to be addressed.
Indeed, that actually add on to a lot of costs and also even training as well. It comes in that taxes needs to be looked at. How we are going to get incentives to actually encourage the up-and-coming industries. How are we even also going to look out there exporting our products? after all are said and done, getting raw materials is another issue. How we're also going to add value is another issue. How we're going to train our people is another issue. How government is also going to actually entice the private sector in terms of taxes and all that.
I'm coming to the issue about market as well, because the argument here is that for those products from the Far East, they come in, they are supported, it's very cheap, and when I go onto the market, there's quality real cable out on the market, and there's other cable coming from elsewhere. What do you think can be done to ensure that whoever gets into this initiative, which if Real should get in, to ensure that there is ready market for these produce coming out of this one district, one factory?
This one district, one factory, if one is to actually given the chance, as we have now, I think we, all of us, first and foremost, we have to talk about quality. Quality comes number one, and prompt delivery, it comes. And then also looking at it, the government is a bigger buyer. Now, when after you've even produced and supplied, getting your returns becomes another issue.
Payment, some will talk about payment.
I mean, it becomes issue, which is actually...
But do you think that there should be a policy where, in terms of our localization and all the rest, compel some of these government agencies, even at our school level and ministries, to buy these products from these factories?
That is number one. That is the first thing that we have to look at, that whatever we are going to be producing here, we have to buy made in Ghana. And I would say that because we know that this belongs to us, we make sure that quality is number one. Looking at it again, quality is number one, prompt delivery, and even training, job creation. So it's all actually, it's like a supply chain. And it's not only even delivery as such, but also training our people for them to take over all these investments, time investments, all the investment that we are putting in for the next years to come. Because this is only the beginning.
People have complained about dealing with local industries, and sometimes the arguments about the timeliness. I give a contract to a local industry, even the time to delivery, the product will come, they were not in the state I was looking forward to. And people are saying that, well, if this initiative would succeed, how do we deal with that problem also?
This is where we have to look at the raw materials that we have here. Because now, looking at this initiative, we have, I mean, in our industry, we have the bauxite, which His Excellency the President has spoken about. We have all that it takes, the iron, all that. We have them here. How are we going to add value? These are some of the areas that we need to look at it and say, let's get our own raw materials locally. Let's add value. Let's produce what we have and consume what we have. And even look at the export and the sub-regional market, which is so huge. When you look at it, if we're talking about aluminium, we have to look at it and say that Ghana has got to be the hub for West Africa for aluminium, because we are lucky to even have vacuum.
Madam, you've been in this industry for quite a long time, and the question I want to ask is that why have all the other initiatives really failed to get the desired result? I'm looking at that one, because you've had several initiatives that was aimed at growing the industrial sector and being the hub for production in the region and all that. But industry today, and you can tell the story, but they're still struggling.
You know, industries are struggling because one way or the other, I would say that lack of discipline and attention to details. I mean, in Ghana, people take things so lightly, and we take things like personal. But this is where we are looking at industrialists out there. They are getting all the incentives, which we are not getting. They are getting all the support. In fact, even when you export, you get the support. They give you the enabling environment. Now, we are the situation where some of us will say that, well, we are not that fortunate, because you have to start from somewhere. Starting from somewhere, it comes with costs. You are dealing with people who don't actually understand what the industry is all about. So this is where we have to come and say that, well, the time has come for people to pay particular attention to details. What does it take for you to be on top of your production? You know?
And some would say that incentives is very, very critical. If this thing is going to work, let's support you. The tax breaks, the fund to support you grow. Access to market is also very, very, very. So, Madam, what is your final thoughts to the players and anybody who is part of this whole initiative, that what should you be doing right now to make things work? Your final words.
I think I would say that, well, looking at it now, we all have to take this initiative and take on this revolution as our own. Ghana belongs to Ghanaians. What we have, and if we are able to sustain it, it will all depend on us. We have to make sure that whatever investment that is being put in now, we're going to sustain it. And making sure that the discipline takes place. That at the end of the day, it's for you to invest, you invest all that you have and really grow the market. It depends on us. His Excellency have done his bit. What about us? Those of us in the industry. The challenge is coming to us because we have to take it up and move it and hold hands and know what it takes out there by learning on the job, by creating the jobs, but also being efficient on what we do.
Thank you, Madam. And that is one of our finest female industrialists here in Ghana, the Group Chief Executive of Reroy Cables. And she's into cables. I know whether she will also be participating in this whole initiative by setting up their own factory under initiative. You'll be doing that.
Yes.
So thank you so much. And that's our wrap for our discussions with industrialists out there as part of this launch of this one district, one factory. Over to you. I know, George, you're in the studio. Take over. And of course, indeed, George Jaffe is in the studio here for a whole coverage on this one district, one factory. The president has also been speaking about another initiative to support the youth to actually explore the bauxite. He said this or made this comment at the Harvard Business School Leadership in Accra today.
For our part in Ghana, we have set about prosecuting the agenda of building, with the private sector, at least one factory in each of our 216 districts. Later today, I will launch the One District, One Factory program, with the first being Ekumfi Fruits and Juices Company Limited, a pineapple processing factory in Ekumfi in the central region of Ghana, which intends to generate 5,000 jobs in the area. Additionally, we think the time has come for Ghana to develop strategic industries out of its abundant natural resources of bauxite and iron ore. We intend to establish shortly an integrated aluminum industry development authority to assemble the relevant financial resources for the systematic exploitation and transformation of our bauxite into aluminum, the metal of the future. By the same token, we've decided to exploit our substantial iron ore and manganese deposits situated in the western and northern regions of our country to build an integrated steel industry to serve the needs of our country and region. This process of economic and industrial transformation has to go along with ensuring that the most basic elements of social justice are met.
And that's the president speaking about what his government is going to do to support the youth in this country. He's also been speaking about the fact that how his administration is going to use cocoa as well to help transform the economy. Let's listen to the president again.
It is vital for the future of African democracy that democratic governance provides the context not only for the flourishing of freedom in Africa, but also equally significant for the rapid development and transformation of Africa's economies. It is the only way we can deal effectively with the greatest threat to our future, widespread unemployment amongst our youth. The time has come to bring prosperity to Africa's long-suffering masses. We cannot, however, bring prosperity to our peoples by maintaining economic structures that are built around the production and export of raw materials. A startling example can be found in the figures from the production and export of cocoa, which, as you know, is so important to the economy of my country. Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire account for more than 60% of the world's cocoa output. Ghana, for example, earned $2 billion United States dollars from the sale of cocoa beans in 2015, and Côte d'Ivoire, $3.7 billion United States dollars, amounting together to $5.75 billion United States dollars. And yet, the chocolate market was worth a little over 100 billion United States dollars in 2015. It means that the farmers, who through their sweat and toil produce 60% plus of the world's cocoa, earned 5.7% of the global value of their activity. This is not right and cannot and should not continue.
And so it appears the president is very committed to ensure that they turn this country from more of an import-led economy to more of an export-led economy. And just like what Dan Latte would say, domestication. Let's actually consume what we grow and actually manufacture in this country. From the industrial sector, I'll be getting it very soon. We'll be trying to touch base with our man, Elton John Broby, on the ground for this sword cutting ceremony. But let's move away from industry and do something banking. Money Doubler is the name. They are out there. They are taking deposits from you. But the Bank of Ghana is saying that do not deal with this institution. They are an online-based firm. They are taking money from the public. Let's get you more on this concern by the Bank of Ghana in the following report.
According to the Bank of Ghana, the institution is using mobile platforms as a medium to transact its operations. The funds are mobilized and paid to its members via mobile money platforms and lodged with the institution, which is doubled over a period. The regulator in a statement adds that the institution is undertaking a transaction which is not licensed. The Bank of Ghana wishes to inform the general public that Money Doubler is not licensed by the Bank of Ghana to engage in any form of deposit-taking business. This is the second time in just 2 months that the Bank of Ghana has issued a similar warning after directing a similar one on Men's Gold. Checks on the website of the institution shows that the company was indeed taking some deposits from the public. For instance, the institution was promising depositors returns on their funds depending on the number of persons they recommended. It also promised the public some good returns if they deposit between 100 and 1,000 Ghana cedis.
And indeed, it's said to be warned is to be forearmed, to actually been warned there. So maybe you have to be careful if you deal with this particular institution. So from banking, we hop into what people might call the September rush. I know you're getting ready to get to school if you might be in level 100, level 200, or level 300. Also, if you are in a secondary school and you're moving to a different level, maybe second year, I know this is the time where you are planning to get those Shito, Milo, Gare, the conflicts, and what have you to fill your box. But you know that something is going on right now where you can get all these goods at one place at a very competitive price. That's what we call Joy FM. We think about you, the back to school promo, and we'll be getting more details on that one. So what is happening there? What's the wrap? Let's get you something.
Back to School Fair is here with us once again, and the deal is currently ongoing at the Providence Center and Recreational Center, currently opposite the Trade Fair Center in Accra. And as you can see, tens of exhibitors, over 70 of them in that very regard, have converged here to provide the best services for students and patrons alike ahead of this very year's academic season. But let's start off with BIC, one of our main sponsors, to find out from them what they have in offer and the reason why they decided to be a part of this very year's fair. And I do have here one of the representatives. Hello, sir. And your name and position.
Okay, my name is Israel Nonyibe, representing BIC at the discount fair here.
All right. You did make mention of a very interesting word, discount fair. What kind of services are you offering here in terms of the products and services for students and patrons?
Okay, so everybody in Ghana knows that when we talk about stationery, back to school cannot be complete without BIC. BIC is the #1 stationery company in Ghana, and then we cannot be out of this whole thing that's going on. BIC already is organizing a number of back to school activities across the country. And Joy BTS1 is just one of the activities we are doing. And coming on board as sponsors, what we need to do is to ensure that everybody is going back to school with some BIC stationery of a sort. We have stationery from pencils to pens to crayons. There's something for everybody. Even for the teachers, we have whiteboard markers and all that. So we have a lot to offer here at the Joy Discount Fair.
To help us through the amounts, the cost involved in all these spends.
Okay, so we have here the wax crayons, which is a special one. The pack of 12 going for just 5 cedis. It's a quality BIC product. We also have here the original medium pens, the one you know from your exams days in the past with the ballpoint. This is going for just 45 pesos. And then we also have the crystal fine, which is the new one we're introducing to the schools. That has a finer tip. And this one is going for just 50 pesos here at the stand. Now, we are not just selling in units, we have packages for schools as well. So we have cases and cartons and boxes we are selling here. So for the crystal fine, this one is going for just 25 Ghana cedis, and 25 Ghana cedis for the whole box of 50. And then we also have the original going for just 23 cedis, 50 pesos here at our stand.
It gives the impression that your prices are on the downside.
Yes. I mean, this we're giving it out at a wholesale price. I mean, it's a discount fair. You need to be heavily discounted. Now, aside the discount you enjoy on these products here, what we're also doing is giving away some fantastic goodies for people who are going back to school, notepads, school bags.
So that's for free?
Yes, all of that is for free. So once you buy from here, you get the chance to pick a scratch card. All you do is scratch. Whatever you get is what you win. It's a 100% win. There's no try again.
Wow. So that's from Big right here, a special segment in their exhibition where you tend to just pick up one of the vouchers here. You just scratch it, and you can win yourself one of the, lovely goods and items right here. It's the back to school fair right here at the Prudence. Many thanks as well.
And I love free things. I don't know about you. That is why you have to be at the back to school fair on going at trade fair to get more freebies. And way back in secondary school, I don't know what your pen number was, PE 75, PE 34, when those people steal your pens. Let's do other stories. In our program here at Multi TV, we have this executive lounge where we engage top business executive. Now, Mr. Somkomels, Chief Executive of MultiChoice Ghana, has been making a passionate call about what has to be done to address the issue of piracy. This program, Executive Lounge, is hosted by Shirado. Let's get excerpts of that program.
It's yes and no, because it's actually, to fight piracy is a partnership. It's a partnership between both the industry, the regulators, and government. So there's been a lot of engagement at different levels, even with the judiciary, with the police, with the copyright administrator, with broadcasters, etc. And there's a lot of education, but at the same time, you also must push prosecution. So with the mix, other countries have gone way above it. Recently, in the UK, there was some box they have which they use to extract the English Premier League to stream across a lot of sites. They've just won a successful court case against them. We know what's happened with a lot of download sites that have been shut down. But it's because somebody does a $55 million movie, and you find somebody downloads it and puts it on a free-to-air station and shows it for free. So by the time that movie gets to the cinema, and the cinema guy who's paid for the content, eventually you're going to run down that business.
Cecil Somkomels is the Chief Executive of MultiChoice Ghana, sharing his thought about what needs to be done to protect the cable industry. Well, let's get you some investment tips for your Friday afternoon.
Investment Tips is brought to you by Daffing Finance, Deposits, Investments, Borrowings and Advisory.
The modified life cycle hypothesis. The modified life cycle and investing. In your early working years, you're likely to spend more than you're earning. This likelihood may lead to borrowing. When borrowing, remember not to use more than 45% of your monthly income to pay debts.
Investment Tips was brought to you by Daffing Finance, Deposits, Investments, Borrowings and Advisory.
We hope you've been able to give you a balanced diet in terms of your business diet for the day. You know the song that they say everybody loves Saturday night? Well, That night starts on Friday, and I know you're getting warm up for the weekend. Well, let's start right now because the weekend starts now. Enjoy your weekend. Thank God it's Friday. Good afternoon.